Hi, I'm Mackenzie. Today I am going to talk to you about how to safely set up and take down a portable crib. And the model of crib that we have with us today is a Graco Pack and Play with a full-size bassinet feature. And so even if you have a different kind of Graco portable crib, a different model that doesn't come with that bassinet or the specific kind you're going to see today, most of the Graco Pack and Plays, the base crib is set up in the same way. So hopefully the video should still be helpful for you too. A couple things that you're going to see on your crib when you take it out of the box. You're going to see this white pocket on one of the front panels of the crib. And in this white pocket is where you will find the owner's manual. And so this is a really important document that you want to keep because inside of it you're going to find a lot of what we're going to go through today. You're going to find how to safely set up the crib, how to take it apart. You're going to find a lot of safe sleep information and some of the warnings and things that you'll want to read through before you put the crib together. And so this pocket is a great place to keep that owner's manual. It is in English and Spanish. Or if you have another place that you like to keep all of your important documents, that's fine too, as long as you know where it is. The other thing that you're going to see hanging off separately off of a little zip tie is the product registration card. And this is something else that's important that you want to remember. And you can just rip it off that zip tie, and it is perforated. So once you fill out this card and mail it in, Graco will receive it and your crib will be officially registered. And so what that means is that down the road, if there's ever a recall with the crib or a defect with the crib, then Graco will attempt to outreach you using the information you provide on the card. And so it's perforated and you just tear it apart. The top part is what you keep. This has the model, make, and number already printed on it for you of your crib. And it also has Graco's contact information on this. If you ever need to get a hold of Graco in the future, their information is on here. So this top part is really great to keep with the owner's manual so that you can have that for the future. The bottom postcard part is what you fill out, and all you have to fill out is your name, your address, your telephone number, and your email. And it is postage paid. So you just stick this in your mailbox or another mailbox when you're finished filling it out, and then you can be done. You can also get on the Graco website and register your crib online through the Graco website. All you will need is the model, make, and number that's printed on this card, but you can also complete that online. Now I'm going to talk to you about the parts of the portable crib before we take everything out and put it together, just to walk you through that really quick. So once you open up the crib and you unstrap the Velcro and you open it up, it's going to unfold, and your every model of the Pack and Play, no matter what extra features it has, it's always going to come with two main parts. One of them is going to be the actual crib itself, and this is the bassinet for our model. And the two main parts are always going to be the crib, and you're always going to see the mattress. You may have some extra stuff. Some of the models have accessory pouches or full-size bassinets or smaller bassinets. And so then for those things that aren't in this video, you would want to make sure that you look through the owner's manual and follow the instructions for how to put those things together. Now I am going to walk you through how to set up the crib. So to do that, you want to make sure that you have enough space. Once we set up the crib all the way, it's about 3.5 feet by 2.5 feet. So you'll want to just make sure in whatever space you want to use it, that you've cleared that space for the crib. And so what you're going to do is you're going to stand the crib up, and you'll always know which end is the bottom because the bottom will have two wheels. So you'll just want to stand it up. And then you are going to gently pull out on the legs from above to kind of spread them apart. And it's going to start to open up. Now each side, each rail, there are 4. Each side has a rail that needs to be locked into place in order for the crib to be used and set up safely. And so you're going to gently pull up underneath the button on each side. You're going to gently pull up. It doesn't take a lot of force to pull. You're going to pull up until you hear it click, just like that. And once it clicks into place, it should be solid. So you want to just work your way through each side until you hear that click, just like that. And now this part in the middle has to be pushed down all the way. So you want to make sure that you spread the legs apart underneath so you have enough space to push down all the way. And you just push down, and that's it. So this is the base crib. Now, a couple things I want to point out before we move on to the mattress is that all of the safety information and the safe sleep tips and warnings that you'll find in your owner's manual are actually printed on the bottom of the crib itself in English and Spanish. And there are some safe sleep warnings and information printed on the sides as well. And another thing that I want to point out that is a good thing to do at this point, whether you're setting up the crib at your home or whether you're setting it up at somebody else's home or in another childcare facility, is to check the rails. So before we put the mattress in, it's a good idea just to run your hands over each of the rails to make sure that they're solid. Because once a rail is locked into place, it shouldn't ever collapse back down unless you're packing it up and you've pressed the button to do so. So there are times where you may be pulling up on a side and maybe you hear it click, but it collapses back down. Or maybe you're pulling up on it and it's sticking and you just can't get it to engage or stick together. That could be a sign of a broken crib. And so if one of the rails is collapsing down on you, then that crib would not be safe to use with a child in it. And the reason for that, you'll see at the end when we pack it up, is that when even one of the rails are collapsed, the crib starts to collapse in on itself. And we want it to do that because that's how it gets packed away. But we don't want it to do that with a baby inside of it. So we want to make sure that all the rails are solid and that they're all locked into place. And this one's pretty solid. And so now we're ready to move on to the mattress. You always set up the crib first. And before we drop the mattress in, on the bottom of each mattress, this mattress actually serves as the covering for the crib when it's packed up. So the hard part that serves as the outside gets dropped down to the bottom of the crib. And on the bottom, you're going to find 4 button snaps, 1 in each corner, and 2 Velcro straps, 1 on each side on opposite corners. And so what's going to happen is we are going to drop this crib, drop the mattress down to the bottom of the crib, and you have to get underneath the crib. And these button snaps and straps actually get pulled through slits in the bottom of the crib and secured to the crib itself. It's really easy to just put the mattress in and leave it and not secure it to the bottom. But by securing it to the bottom of the crib, that's the way to make sure that the mattress doesn't fold or get bunched up or that your child can't pull up on it or get an arm underneath there. So it's a really important piece that you don't want to forget about. So one tip that I learned is when you drop this in, it's easier to un-Velcro the Velcro. That's going to help you be able to pull it through a little easier. So I'm just going to drop the mattress down, just like that. And this part can be a little bit tricky. Sometimes you have to prop it up against a couch or a wall or something that will allow you to tilt it back a little bit so that you can get underneath here and pull through the straps. So I'm just going to kind of use my leg and stick in my finger through the bottom of the crib here. The slits are pretty easy to find. And I am finding that button snap and pulling it through like that. And you'll see here actually on the rail on the bottom of the crib is the other snap for the button. So you want to pull and snap, just like that. And also you don't want to forget about the Velcro strap. Those are a little bit harder to pull through. The slit for that Velcro strap is over here. So you got to kind of reach your finger up through there, hook it, and pull it through. And then you secure it to the piece of Velcro that's on the bottom of the crib. And so you'll want to make sure that you do that for each of the corners. Okay, And now your mattress is safe and secure and ready for a baby. Just a few safe use tips. Whether you're using this crib as a play yard or as a sleep environment for your child, you want to make sure that whatever reason you're using it for, that all of the rails are locked into place and that none of the rails are lowered. You always want it to be secure and set up when a child is inside of it. And you want to make sure that your child's always supervised. If you're using it as a sleep space, making sure they're close by, or if you are using it as a play yard and your child is awake, just making sure that they're within sight of you and that you're close by. Also be careful and thoughtful with where you are putting the crib and what is around the crib in the environment. Just keeping an eye out for things like cords on blinds, any types of strings, or if there are large objects that could possibly fall into the crib. Just kind of taking a look around you with where you want to set it up and making sure that those safety things are taken care of. The weight limit on this particular model of the Graco Pack and Play is if your child reaches 35 inches tall or 30 pounds or is able to climb out of the crib. So you want to ask yourself which 3 of those things has your child met first, and if any of those criteria are met, then you would want to discontinue use of the portable crib. Also, if your child is standing, then you want to make sure that you remove anything that's in the crib or outside of the crib that could be used to climb out of the crib, because once your child starts climbing out is when you would want to stop using it. So just some things to keep in mind. Now we are going to talk about the full-size bassinet feature that comes with this model of the Graco Pack and Play. This is where the net piece comes into play. When you are using the bassinet on the portable crib, the mattress actually does not get secured to the bottom of the crib. You just assemble the crib like you normally would, and then you put the bassinet on, and then I will show you where the mattress goes inside of this netting. This netting, if you open it up, you'll see that it's actually a rectangular shape just like the crib itself. And there are 2 of these rubber kind of casings on each side. And what happens is we're going to drop this netting into the crib, and these casings get snapped and secured over the rail on either side of that button that you see. You'll also see that there are poles that are kind of sewn in to the crib, and you'll want to make sure when we drop this in that you're matching the shape of the crib and that the poles are on top. So we're going to go ahead and do that. And then what you do is you just work your way around the crib, and you want to make sure that you find the button and that you snap this rubber piece over the side rail, making sure that it's completely flush with the rail. Sometimes if you get too close to the button, it won't let you push this casing down all the way. And so you'll want to make sure that you just scoot it over a little bit to make sure that you can get this flush all the way. And so you want to just work your way around the crib all the way. Now you should see something like this in the middle, and there's 2 poles on each side. And if you match them up from opposite ends, one of the poles actually has a little bit of a narrower end that fits into the other pole. And so you just fit these together, like that. Like that. And now you actually get your mattress, and you tuck in the Velcro straps and snaps. And the mattress, when you're using the bassinet feature, actually just drops right into the bassinet. Tuck the tag in there. Make sure it's snug. And you're finished. When you are using the bassinet, the mattress actually does not get strapped or snapped or secured to the netting, because this bassinet feature should only be used with smaller babies and infants. So this is something that you would want to use with a baby who is less than 15 pounds or a baby that is not pushing up on his or her hands and knees yet. So when your baby reaches 15 pounds or is pushing up on hands and knees, whichever comes first, then you would want to stop using the bassinet, and you would want to move that baby to the full crib with the mattress on the bottom of the crib. And the reasoning for that is it doesn't really take much height for a baby or an infant that's pushing up to reach and potentially push up and flip themselves out of the crib. So you want to make sure that when you're reaching that point, that you move to the full crib. And all of that weight information and the size requirements are in the owner's manual, and also printed on the sides of the crib for you if you need to reference that in the future. Whether you are using the crib for sleep, for the full-size crib, or for the bassinet, there's some important things to remember when you're putting your baby to sleep in the crib. And just remember the ABCs of safe sleep. You want to make sure that your baby is alone in the crib. Any of those things that I know we're tempted to put in to make our babies cozy and comfortable really aren't safe for babies. Things like blankets, things like stuffed animals or pillows, those are all things that could potentially be suffocation hazards for your baby, things your baby could get tangled in, things your baby could kind of get their face wedged in. So we want to make sure that those things are not in the safe sleep space when your baby's sleeping. We also want to make sure if your baby is sleeping with a pacifier, that you make sure if you're using a pacifier clip that you remove that clip when the baby's sleeping, because that pacifier clip could potentially serve also as a strangulation hazard for your baby. The other thing to remember is you want your baby to be on his or her back. Baby is actually much safer sleeping on his or her back. So making sure that a baby is in a safe sleep space that has a flat, firm sleep surface, nothing that's really soft or cushy or fluffy. We want to make sure that it's firm, and we want to make sure that it's not elevated. So we want to make sure that it's flat. This baby here is wearing a wearable blanket or a sleep sack. That's a really great alternative to use if you're concerned about temperature and you don't want to use a blanket. Also, what's important to remember with these cribs is that you don't want to enhance or add anything on to this crib that did not come with the crib or isn't sold as a specific add-on by the specific manufacturer and company to add on to your specific make and model of crib. So this crib came with a bassinet, and that would be safe to use. But you want to make sure that you're not purchasing another type of bassinet to try to put in the crib. You want to make sure that you're not adding in any extra mattresses or extra padding to the crib. That can create some gaps that we don't want. So you just want to make sure that you are only using what comes with the crib, or what is made for this crib, and that you're just careful not to add any sort of netting or things over top of it. Now we are going to talk about how to pack up the crib. So whether you're using it as a full crib or as the bassinet, once you remove the bassinet piece and the mattress, it gets packed up the same way. So if you're using it as a bassinet, you would just remove the mattress. You kind of just do everything in reverse. If you are using it as a crib, you would want to make sure before you remove the mattress from the bottom that you get back underneath the crib and that you unsnap those buttons and unstrap the Velcro before you go and pull that up. So for the bassinet, I'm just gonna unsecure the poles and remove the bassinet from the side just by pulling up on those casings. In the bassinet, you can just kind of fold it up, try to line up the poles and fold it, set that aside. Now to pack up the crib, there is a little tie on the bottom of your crib. It's either red, sometimes it's black, or brown. And you want to pull up all the way on this tie here. And when you do that, it might get a little crazy. So you want to pull up all the way up. And so now we have one last step, and that is to disengage the sides, to disengage all of the rails. So each side has a button. And what you want to do is you push in on the button, and while you're pushing in on the button, you gently push down on the side until the side collapses just like that. Sometimes if you catch the rail at a weird angle, it won't let you push in on the button. And so sometimes all you have to do is just reset the rail, and it'll let the button reset, and it should let you push it in. But you shouldn't have to force that button. So you want to gently push down and work your way around all four sides. And as you can see, it's starting to honestly fold itself up. Something really important to remember, this is probably one of the main ways that portable cribs get broken, is when you have properly collapsed a side, you should see 3 straight pieces, separate pieces. There's one here where the button is, and then another one right here. And when all of the sides are collapsed properly, it's really easy for it to fold up. What can happen sometimes is one of the sides is not collapsed all the way, and you'll know that because it's not letting you fold it easily. And if you keep pushing and pushing and really cranking it, what's probably going to happen is the side is going to snap and the rail's going to break. And then when you go to try to set it up, that rail is not going to lock into place. And so if you feel this giving you any kind of resistance when you are packing it up, probably what you just need to do is go through and check your rails to make sure they're collapsed all the way. And if you find one that is not, like this one that just has the 2 pieces, you just have to press that button, push down until you get it to re-engage all the way. And now it's collapsed. Now we are going to pack it up. And so to do that, I think it's easiest to lay the mattress out on the floor or on a table. And you just take your crib and you put it on one of the middle 2 panels of the mattress. And any of the add-on stuff that came with your crib, whether it's an accessory pouch or for us, the bassinet, you just want to gather it together as much as you can and just place it on the top. Try to fit it all together. And then the sides of the mattress, you want to pull up around your crib. And those Velcro straps actually serve as the straps that keep everything together. So you want to take the strap, feed it through the loop, and you want to pull pretty tight on this to keep everything inside. Make sure nothing falls out. And here we are, back where we started from. So the last thing that you want to do when you are not using the crib or it's packed away and not in use, if you're traveling with it or you're taking it to someone's house, you want to make sure that you use the protective bag that comes with the crib. This comes up, it comes packed in the crib in a ball on the inside when you take it out of the box. So this is just going to keep your crib protected from weather, from water, from anything that can happen out in the environment. And it slides over the crib just like a campfire chair. There is a top to the bag that has an opening that you want to make sure you line it up with a strap on the front of the crib. And you just slide the bag over top. Flip it. And then you zip it up and you pull your handle through and you're done.